Shalom. This is the sea and milk of Yahweh Sap, Lion's Den. I camp out with Lion Den Hawan Ben Yashawada in Jacksonville, Florida. But first, I'd like to give a prayer to the Father, to the Son, to the elders, to the Akims, and to the women and children. Kau, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Roka, Kodash, Mahamath, in the name of Yahweh Shai, and holy and in spirit and truth. Double honors to the elders of GMS, Slakia. Double honors to my elder Hawan. Salutations to the Akims who are the four corners of the earth in sincerity and truth. And to the women and children, Shalom. Okay, well, not too much is being talked about the balloon, right? That they said was sent by China. And this came to my through my phone, and it's interesting. There's something strange about the Chinese spy balloon, and let's see what else it says here. Was this Chinese spy balloon a test run for an EMP detonation? In this video, examine some of the histories of nuclear weapons, okay? So let's take a look at it. And the title of this lesson, Be Vigilant, meaning keeping careful watch for possible danger or difficulties. Here we go.
There's something strange about this Chinese spy balloon that just got shot down, and nobody seems to be talking about it.
The first of the three high-altitude shots, was prepared and launched from the flight deck of the aircraft carrier USS Boxer. All of Yucca's blast and nuclear radiation instrumentation and a portion of the thermal instrumentation were concentrated in 5 canisters suspended below the weapon at intervals out to 3,000 feet. These instruments were designed to be activated prior to burst time by telemetered commands. At 11:25 hours on 28 April, when the Yucca balloon was released, the USS Boxer was operating about 90 nautical miles northeast of Nan Island, Bikini Atoll, maintaining a deck wind velocity of near zero. 2.5 hours later, 1440 hours, at an approximate altitude of 85,000 feet, Yucca was detonated by radio command signal. Failure of the telemeter command transmitter to activate the canister instruments prior to burst time resulted in almost complete loss of data from the balloon dragline equipment.
In the 1950s, the United States government started testing nuclear devices detonated from balloons. Enter Project Yucca, the balloon nuclear detonation test as part of Operation Hardtack. Quote, Yucca was the codename of the first unique high-altitude test of a nuclear device ever carried out by a stratospheric balloon. The main goal of the United States Department of Defense and Los Alamos Scientific Laboratory was to study the effect of the detonation of a W-25 air defense warhead at high altitude as part of the developmental work of an anti-ballistic missile. This test, along with 2 other exo-atmospheric detonations, performed using rocket-borne warheads of a megaton scale codenamed Teak and Orange, were included under Operation Newsreel as part of Operation Hardtack. As occurred in most nuclear tests, it was necessary to set up a series of monitoring stations and instrumented vehicles to retrieve the data at the moment of the explosion. The measurements of the electromagnetic pulse generated by the blast was performed by the Army Signal Research and Development Laboratory from 2 stations located at Wotho and Kusel, approximately 100 miles and 460 miles from Bikini, respectively. Balloon flight testing for Yucca began in 1956 at various locations in the United States, like Vernalis Naval Air Station in California, Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico, and Goodfellow Air Force Base in Texas. In all, a total of 76 balloons were launched in preparation for the event. And on the morning of April 28, 1958, the USS Boxer departed from Bikini to the launch point. After the bomb was assembled and armed, the balloon was released at 11:25. During ascent, the nuclear device was separated from the balloon at a distance of 568 feet by a hydraulic load-lowering device. And the measurement instrumentation was additionally deployed along a nylon line at specific intervals totaling 3,000 feet below it. At 12:50, the balloon reached a floating altitude of 85,000 feet, and finally at 14:40, the nuclear device was detonated by radio command in a point located 85 miles northeast of Inuitak. The device produced a yield of 1.7 kilotons, a small amount for the standard of the times. The fact that an electromagnetic pulse is produced by a nuclear explosion was known since the very first days of nuclear weapons testing. But the magnitude of the EMP and the significance of its effects were not realized for some time. According to the data published in the final report of hardtack, which was declassified several years later, Yucca provided the first indication in United States testing that high-altitude EMP could be more than 100 times as intense as a low-altitude EMP. So basically what this article is saying is that the United States tested a nuclear device, a very small one at that, on a balloon to measure the effects of the EMP. And what they found was when an EMP is produced or a nuclear device is detonated in high altitude, it creates a pulse that is 1,000 times stronger than the low altitude EMP. Now, what would happen if an EMP actually hit America? Well, according to this report, it doesn't look very good. In fact, a congressional report states that, quote, an EMP attack would kill 90% of all Americans. 90%. Quote, in a U.S. House of Representatives hearing on Thursday, members of the recently defunded EMP Commission informed Congress of the devastation an electromagnetic pulse attack could inflict on the country. In a commission report, former EMP Commission Chairman William Graham and his former Chief of Staff Peter Vincent Perry referred to North Korea using an EMP as a doomsday scenario. It could use its demonstrated satellite launcher to carry a nuclear weapon over the South Polar region and detonate it over the United States to create a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse. The result could be to shut down the electric U.S. power grid for an indefinite period, leading to the death within a year of up to 90% of all Americans. 90% of Americans. Think about that. And what we just saw flying over our country could be a precursor to this exact scenario.
Well, as you can see, things are getting very interesting, right? I mean, that was only one balloon. Imagine if they put out there 100 balloons, right? And also think about if the Edomites of America, right, would do this wicked action to push for World War III as well and blame Russia, right? Anything is possible. I mean, look, they're finding out more information about the pipelines, right? So I want to go to Peter, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walks about seeking whom he may devour, right? You know, we are going through hard times, okay? Some of it's financially, some of it's with health issues. And it's going to get worse, right? And on top of that, once the second shutdown comes, and on top of that, also once they start mandating the MOTB, right, the CHIP, okay? Already the, what they call that, the digital currency, it's growing around the world. Because that's what they're really moving right now. So they can go to the next higher step, right? And now all of a sudden we're seeing balloons in the air. On verse 9, who resists steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Okay, we can't forget what happened to Job, right? He was tested, right? And he was hit with health problems, right? Look at Yahweh Shai, what he went through. Okay, so whatever we're going through right now, it's going to get worse. And we have to remember, in the name of Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai, that we have to, stand fast, right? And don't let this wicked world deceive us or bend us in their direction. Want to go to, give me a minute. I want to jump to verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exhort you in due time. Okay? So, we got to hold on, keep watching the signs of the times, right? Because it's going to get worse. I want to go to Sirach chapter 2. Give me a minute. Chapter 2, verse 1. It's going to be a short lesson. Verse 1, my son, if thou comes to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. And boy, if that's going to even come once the second shutdown hits. Okay? I mean, it's already happening right now, okay? But it's going to get worse. Verse 2, set thy heart, thy mind, aright, and constantly endure, and make no haste in time of trouble. Right? Don't be running after the Edomites, because that's their plan. Okay? That's the objective that they have, that the amount of people are going to run to them. They're the one that caused the problem, and now they want to come with the solution and say, hey, come and we will help you. Right? Take this MOTV, right? The C hit, and you be back in business. Everything will be beautiful. Verse 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Verse 4, whosoever is brought up on thee, take cheerfully and be patient. The word patient, when you look into it, means suffer whatever you're getting, whatever's going to come upon you. And when thou art changed to a lower estate, and boy, if the lights go out, yeah, we're going to be in a lower estate, all right? Right? A lot of our people, so-called Negros Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds, they have a civil mentality, okay? And living in the box. They don't know what to do living out of the box, right? Everybody's already used to going to the store and getting, buying what they're going to eat, drink, right? They don't know anything about going out into the woods. Verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Yeah. This is Yahweh Shin Yahweh Shai giving all of us the biggest test of time to see what you're made out of. Are you going to stay and walk with him, or are you going to run to the Edomites? And are you going to walk to him and with him, even to death? Okay? Verse 7, yea, that fear Yahweh, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. That's a serious test, right? And you have to hold fast to it. Verse 9, Ye that fear Yahweh hopes for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. Boy, do we need mercy. Because what's to come is real, real ugly. But at the same time, we are rejoicing that's going to get here, that's going to come. Slakia. Okay? Because that's what we're praying for, you know. Verse 10. Look at the generations of old, and see did ever any trust in Yahweh was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken. Right? That's how come we have the book. Or whom did he ever despise that call upon him? See? The test of time, the biggest test. Who are we going to call? Yahweh Shai? Or we're going to be calling the Edomites? You know, a lot of our people, when they start feeling that stomach empty and feeling that growling pain in the stomach, okay, or see their loved ones hungry and dying, and the woman putting pressure on the man, what kind of man you are, that you're going to leave us to starve to death like this, right? Where is your God now? That's what happened to Job, right? His wife, where's your God? Why don't you damn your God? Remember that? Verse 11. For Yahweh is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgives sins and saves in times of affliction. Verse 12. Woe be to fearful hearts, mind, and faint hands, and the sinner that goes two ways. Yeah. He's going to be watching who's going to stay walking that straight line, okay, of affliction, and trust in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Verse 12, verse 13. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believes not, therefore shall he not be defended. So, it's going to get worse, okay? Things are getting closer, things are moving faster. That mark of that beast is coming. The second shutdown is around the corner. Let me play a little bit of the video, and then I'll say Shalom. Oh, gracias. Give me a minute.
Shalom. On March 26, 2019, President Trump signed Executive Order 13865, coordinating national resilience to electromagnetic pulses, which establishes resilience and security standards for the U.S. critical infrastructure as a national priority initiative. EO 13865 states, quote, an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, has the potential to disrupt, degrade, and damage technology and critical infrastructure systems. Human-made or naturally occurring EMPs can affect large geographic areas, disrupting elements critical to the nation's security and economic prosperity, and could adversely affect global commerce and stability. The federal government must foster sustainable, efficient, and cost-effective approaches to improving the nation's resilience to the effect of EMPs. This is the report of the Commission to Assess the Threat to the United States from an EMP Attack. Volume 1 is from 2004. Now it's pretty long, so I'm just going to show you some of the highlights. Quote, the nature of EMP threat. High-altitude EMP results from the detonation of a nuclear warhead at altitudes about 40 to 400 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The immediate effects of EMP are disruption of and damage to electronic systems and electrical infrastructure. EMP is not reported in the scientific literature to have direct effects on people in the parameter range of present interest. What is significant about an EMP attack is that one or few high-altitude nuclear detonations can produce EMP effects that can potentially disrupt or damage electronic and electrical systems over much of the United States, virtually simultaneous at a time determined by an adversary. Now this figure here shows a EMP detonation above the United States, above Chicago, can take out all electrical power on the east coast of the United States. And I'm not just talking about the lights shut off. I'm talking about all electrical systems are fried and permanently disabled. Each critical infrastructure in the U.S. is dependent upon other infrastructures, and it has a little diagram here showing you how every bit of this country is interlinked and relies on each other for success. All of the critical functions of U.S. society and related infrastructures, electric power, telecommunications, energy, financial, transportation, emergency services, water, food, etc., have electronic devices embedded in most aspects of their systems, often providing critical controls. Electric power has thus emerged as an essential service underlying U.S. society and all of its other critical infrastructures. Telecommunications has grown to a critical level but may not rise to the same as electrical power in terms of risk to the nation's survival. All other infrastructures and critical functions are dependent upon the support of electric power and telecommunications. Therefore,
Okay, I'm going to have to leave it there. Stay vigilant. Keep the faith. I hope that this was edifying. And with that, I'll say shalom.